There are two kinds of thieves in this world: the ones who steal for greed, and the ones who steal for reasons they believe are noble. In the city of Brightmoor, people whispered about the second kind. They called him the Night Sparrow because he moved like a shadow, silent, quick, gone before the moon blinked twice. And strangely, no one hated him. In fact, some prayed for him. It was a cold night when Elias crouched on the edge of a rooftop, watching the mansion below. Tall iron gates, golden lights, guards walking slowly along the fence. Inside lived one of the richest men in the city, and one of the most feared. Elias adjusted the black cloth around his face. His eyes were calm, focused, not angry, not reckless. He wasn't here for revenge. He told himself that. He was here for balance. The guard turned the corner. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Elias dropped silently into the courtyard. He moved across the stone floor like a breath of wind. Inside the house, everything glittered. Marble floors, expensive paintings, a chandelier that probably cost more than 100 families' rent. Elias paused. His jaw tightened. How many children could eat with this? He whispered. He slipped into the office. There it was, a safe. He worked quickly. Click, click, click. The lock opened. Inside were thick envelopes tied neatly with string. Stacks of cash, more than enough to feed entire neighborhoods. Elias didn't hesitate. He packed it into his satchel. Before leaving, he glanced around once more. No guilt, no fear, just certainty. They won't even feel this, he muttered. And then he was gone. The next morning, something unusual happened in Brightmoor. A widow opened her door. There was an envelope on her doorstep. Inside, money, enough to cover rent. Across town, a struggling father found food baskets outside his apartment. At the old bridge, a man who hadn't eaten properly in days found coins wrapped in cloth. No note, no name, just help. By afternoon, the whispers began. He did it again. The Night Sparrow. May God protect him. At the market square, an old woman lifted her hands to the sky. Bless that boy, she said. He steals from wolves and feeds the sheep. Elias watched from a distance. Hidden under a hood, he saw the relief in their faces, the tears, the quiet gratitude, and something inside him felt warm. This is justice, he told himself. Not crime, justice. But Elias had not always been a shadow. Once, he was just a boy who watched his father beg a wealthy landlord for more time to pay rent. The landlord didn't listen. 3 days later, they were thrown into the street. His mother fell sick soon after. Medicine cost money they didn't have. And when Elias stood outside a rich man's gate asking for help, the gate closed, slowly, without a word. That was the day Elias made a promise. If the rich won't show mercy, he said through tears, then I will force balance. Over the years he trained himself, climbing walls, opening locks, studying routines. He never stole from the poor, never hurt a guard, never kept more than he gave. He created rules, because rules made him feel different from the criminals he despised. He wasn't greedy, he wasn't violent, he was correcting injustice. At least, that's what he believed. But every hero needs a villain, and in Brightmoor, there was one name people spoke with clenched teeth. Mr. Hallberg, cold, unsmiling, a landlord who refused to lower rent, a businessman who fired workers without hesitation. Heartless, they called him. He only cares about numbers. Elias had watched him before, from rooftops, from alleyways. He saw Hallberg scold an employee harshly. He saw him reject a man who begged for an extension. He saw the iron gates close every evening. No laughter, no kindness, just stone walls and cold lights. Elias's jaw tightened again. Some men, he thought, don't deserve their wealth. And that night, he decided, Mr. Hallberg would be his next correction. As Elias prepared his tools, he whispered to himself, tomorrow, the city will breathe easier. He didn't know that by this time tomorrow, everything he believed about justice would begin to crack. That night, Elias moved with confidence. Mr. Hallberg's mansion was quiet, cold, silent, just as he expected. He slipped inside, found the safe, opened it. Inside were thick envelopes stacked neatly. Some had names written on them. He didn't read them carefully. He didn't need to. In his mind, he already knew the story. Cruel man, cruel money. He filled his bag and disappeared into the night. The next morning, something felt different. There were no quiet celebrations, no relieved smiles. Instead, he heard panic. 2 nurses were speaking outside the hospital. The children's surgery fund is gone. It was supposed to be paid today. If the money doesn't come, the operation will be cancelled. Elias froze. Surgery fund, he whispered. One nurse said the name quietly. Mr. Hallberg always pays it anonymously. Elias's chest tightened. Anonymously. He rushed back to his hideout, dumped the money onto the table. This time, he looked carefully. Each envelope had a name. Eli, heart surgery, Ward 3, chemotherapy, children's fund. His breathing slowed, then stopped. This wasn't profit. It wasn't greed. It wasn't luxury money. It was hospital money. Lives depended on it. He remembered the safe, the careful organization, the dates. He had stolen medicine. That evening, he returned to watch the mansion. Mr. Hallberg stood outside holding hospital papers. He didn't look cruel. He looked tired, worried. "I'll find a way," Hallberg told someone quietly. The boy must not lose his surgery. Elias felt something collapse inside him. For years, he believed he was correcting injustice, but now he had created it. He had judged a man without knowing his full story, and someone innocent might suffer because of it. Back in his hideout, the money no longer looked heroic. It looked heavy. If he gave it away as usual, the city would praise him, but a child might lose a chance to live. For the first time since becoming the Night Sparrow, Elias didn't feel like a hero. He felt wrong. And now, he had a choice: return the money, or let his pride cost someone their life. That night, Elias did not wear his mask to feel powerful. He wore it because he was ashamed. The money sat in his satchel, untouched, heavy. He stood outside Mr. Hallberg's mansion again, but this time, he wasn't there to steal. He was there to return what he never should have taken. He slipped inside the same office, the same safe, the same quiet room. But before he could place the money back, a voice stopped him. "I wondered if you would return." Elias turned sharply. Mr. Hallberg stood in the doorway. No guards, no shouting, just tired eyes. "You knew?" Elias asked. Hallberg nodded slowly. "You're careful," he said, "but not invisible." Silence filled the room. Elias placed the satchel on the desk. "I thought you were cruel," he said quietly. Hallberg walked closer. "And I thought you were just another criminal." They stood there. 2 men who had judged each other from a distance. "I saw you refuse people," Elias said. "I saw gates close." Hallberg sighed. "Because if I give to everyone who demands, there will be nothing left to give to those who truly need it." He opened one of the envelopes. "A child needs surgery tomorrow." Elias looked down. "I didn't read the names," he admitted. "I assumed." "And your assumption," Hallberg said gently, "almost cost a life." Those words landed heavier than any punishment. Elias lowered his head. "For years I believed I was balancing justice." Hallberg studied him. "You can't build justice on wrongdoing," he replied. Silence again. Then Elias pushed the satchel forward. "All of it is here." Hallberg checked quickly. It was. Relief softened his face. But instead of anger, he asked a question. "Why steal?" Elias swallowed. "Because no one helped my family when we needed it." Hallberg's expression changed. Not to guilt, but to understanding. "The world failed you," he said quietly, "but that doesn't give you the right to fail others." Those words broke something inside Elias. Not his pride, his illusion. He wasn't a hero in the shadows. He was a man who had chosen the wrong way to do the right thing. The next morning, the surgery fund was paid. The child received treatment. The city never knew how close it came to losing hope. And the Night Sparrow, he disappeared. But not because he was hiding, because he was changing. Elias began working openly, helping distribute funds, volunteering at the hospital, using his courage for protection, not theft. People still whispered about the mysterious thief who once stole from the rich, but the truth was quieter and stronger. He learned something that night. Good intentions do not erase bad actions, and sometimes, the villain in your story is simply someone you never took the time to understand.